in the video there, we believe at Michelin that we have an important role to play as a business partner to help customers solve their sustainability challenges, right? Both working inside our fence line and out there with our customers. And so to talk more about the power of partnerships, I'd like to welcome to the stage Katie Rabideau, E-Mobility Product Marketing Manager for Daimler Truck North America, and Luigi Como, Vice President of B2B Marketing, Michelin North America. So welcome both. Thank you for joining us today. So Luigi, let's start with you. This morning we've already been hearing about what Michelin is doing with our materials at our facilities throughout our logistics activities. With the materials, it seems like a lot already, and then hydrogen is all pretty advanced stuff. What is the role you think that commercial fleets play in all of this? Do they matter?
I think they obviously do, and good morning everyone, I'm very happy to be here. I think when we look at commercial fleets, really important things, or two really important things to keep in mind. One is the economic impact of commercial fleets. They are responsible for about 73% of the freight by weight moved in the US. So whatever you do in that sector is going to have dramatic economic impacts to the rest of the country. The second one is the representativeness it has in greenhouse gas emissions, which you can see right up on the chart. It's 29%. When you think transportation sector, that's not just trucks, that includes everything, including passenger car vehicles. If you look at just medium and heavy duty trucks, that's closer to 24% of that, which is 7% of the total. So whatever, again, we do with this sector does have a significant impact economically, but also from an emissions perspective.
That's a lot. That's a big impact. So commercial fleets clearly matter to how the story goes. So how do we get to a more sustainable place?
I think it's partnerships, as you saw from the video, and it's really a focus on what can we build together. It's great that you have, and hopefully you've seen it already, the super truck, the beautiful truck down there with the colors. That Katie has brought with Daimler. I think that truck really illustrates what partnerships enable. The project, for those that don't know, super truck really set ambitions in terms of improving the efficiency of the vehicles. It has a baseline set in 2009 and some improvement markers that they wanted to reach. When you think about trucks, and Alexi mentioned about rolling resistance, after aerodynamic drag, rolling resistance is the next biggest force that you need to overcome to move a truck. So whatever you do there does have a significant impact in efficiency. We worked with Daimler, and when you go and see the truck, you'll see the prototype tires on it. Each of those tires are optimized for the positions they have, and they bring significant impact in rolling resistance. If I have my numbers right, it was a 16% improvement of the baseline for the steer tire, 8% on the drive tire, with an improvement in mileage and wear. And for the tag axle, which is the last tire, that was a 26% improvement in rolling resistance. So all in all, very dramatic improvements over baseline. Those were prototypes, but I think what's really exciting, and that's where the partnerships make a lot of sense, a lot of the technologies on that truck were tested in real life. So it's not a paper or design truck. And including the tires, a lot of that rolls over to what's available commercially. So the steer tire that I mentioned was a 16% improvement over the baseline. That has become the X-Line Energy Z+, which you'll see down there. That one is our lowest rolling resistance tire yet, or steer tire yet. And that has a 12% improvement over its predecessor. So I invite you to see a bit more about the truck, the story about the project, and the tires that we have over there.
Those are amazing numbers. 26% improvement over the previous one in one of the positions. That's remarkable. And this example really, as you're talking about, of we have to go through phases, we have to iterate, we have to keep striving and keep improving, right? These things come in stages as we move along and bring them from the first examples onto the marketplace. So that's fantastic. And we need the partners that help us get to these long-term ambitions to 2050, because it's a long road, obviously, and we need a good community around us as we make that journey. And so we have good partners for company on the journey right here in the person of Katie with Daimler Truck. We have been working at Michelin with your organization closely for a lot of years, both in terms of sustainability as well as technology, and coming back again to the super truck that Luigi has mentioned and that we'll all get to see today. Sid, can you talk a little bit more about the super truck initiative and the power of partnerships that our long-term relationship has kind of unleashed?
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me. Daimler Truck is pleased to have the opportunity to be here today with Michelin as our partner in sustainability and address this key concept of partnerships. We are in the middle of the biggest transformation that the commercial vehicle industry has ever experienced. We've had over 150 years to perfect diesel technology in commercial vehicles. We have our first Freightliner e-Cascadia was called the Eclipse, and it was built 5 years ago. It is in a museum in Oregon now. That shows you how quickly this transformation has already happened to get us to where we are today. Our company goal is to only deliver new vehicles that are carbon neutral by 2039. To get there, we are moving at the speed of right. We deliver the right solutions in the right way for the right reasons at the right time. There's an equation that we like to reference, which is having valuable products multiplied times charging infrastructure or hydrogen infrastructure times cost parity. And we look at that equation as a multiplication equation, because if any factor is zero, the entire equation is zero, right? We need all of these things for the vehicles to successfully keep the world moving, to move freight, right? This is powered by partnerships, right? So that equation, we've got this to the square, to the cube, that's partnerships. That's what's going to increase the velocity of this change and allow us to meet our common objectives with partners who have the same goals, the same mindset, to help us accelerate this development. Why are we taking this journey together? I've got a short video that I'd love to share with you that shows a bit of the purpose behind this transformation.
This is our home.
I see trees of green,
The one thing we all have in common.
red roses too.
A world full of life.
I see them bloom for
Living life.
me and you.
Awe-inspiring
And I think to myself,
and extremely fragile.
what a wonderful world.
So too is the ecosystem of everything and everyone that keeps it all moving.
The colors of the rainbow,
Constantly changing
so pretty in the sky,
and constantly challenged.
also on the faces
Perhaps now,
of people
more than ever.
going by. I see
We have reached a critical moment to shape our world's future that requires both vision and action.
there.
Because one without the other is simply
I
not enough. We've reached a time when we must do what is right. Because right is the only way to move forward. Right for the planet, right for society, right for the communities where we live and work,
skies of blue.
right for everyone, everywhere.
I see clouds of white.
Doing what's right is not about being first or being the fastest.
To myself,
It's about doing and delivering the best,
what a
our best.
wonderful world.
Delivering the right things at the right time for the right reasons,
Babies
the right way, fairly, equitably, and sustainably
and much more.
for this generation and the next.
I think
So we move forward fearlessly, leading sustainable transportation for the world. And we're moving at the speed of right.
I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world.
That's a great video. I'm a sucker for a great video. I am also, nerd that I am, a sucker for a great equation. And so I love that equation you put out there before that highlights really both in the video there, what we heard from George before, the importance of the ecosystem, right? The importance of how powerful and how critical partnerships are to bringing these transformations to life. So, you know, all of these changes that we're talking about, we heard a little bit about this before with the life cycle. It's not just about change, it's change for a purpose. And the changes that we engage in need to accomplish that purpose. They need to move us towards our ambitions. So Luigi, help us understand, what does Michelin bring to these partnerships to do these things?
Yeah, I think, Kara, you mentioned a great point, which is all the innovation needs to come with a purpose. And I think what Michelin has really shown, and hopefully Alexia, as you covered a bit of the history and the overall of the company, demonstrated, is that Michelin has led a lot of innovation that changed what's possible in the industry. I think the launch of the radial tire is a very good one. We do the same thing on the truck side. The X-Les Plus, or the X-Line Energy Z Plus that you'll see later on. What that tire set forward, I talked about rolling resistance, but it's also the first in the industry to really be able to be retreaded up to 4 times. And that provides fleets with up to 1 million miles in terms of usable mileage, which is significant. And it changes how fleets operate, or how fleets can operate. I think it goes a lot into terms of the direction that we're talking about. It's all these new technologies that we put in the market and that enable fleets to continue to advance in the right direction. I think retreading, for those that don't know, is highly relevant because the retreading a tire saves about 15 gallons of oil versus making a new tire. When you think about how many tires fleets go through, so very, very large fleets are going through 500,000 tires a year. When you're retreading 80% of that, that's a massive number of tires and a massive amount of oil that's saved. You can also think about how that tire is going to be in use for much longer. So when you were thinking about the whole cycle of life of the tire, that's extending that cycle of life over time. All this brings very tangible benefits to the operations of our customers, so making it sustainable for their business, operational efficiency, so on, and also more sustainable for the environment in terms of the reduced impact, obviously on retreading, as I talked about, but also on rolling resistance and the benefits that it brings for fuel.
That's great. So when I think about to some of the frameworks that I use to organize my thoughts, Luigi, here, right, we've shifted from talking about the progress we make inside our fence line to talking about the progress we make towards our key ambitions in cooperation with our customers and making more mobility more sustainable today. So Katie, Daimler Truck has been known as an industry leader for the development of sustainable transportation for many years. Why are tires such as the XL EZ Plus so important to transportation fleets and the future of the planet?
When it comes to the operation of our commercial fleet customers, tires are a substantial component of their efficiency. And efficiency is a loaded term, right? Efficiency translates to cost savings. Efficiency translates to range, like Alexi noted. So it's beyond just the sustainability equation. This applies to both diesels and zero-emission vehicles. In the case of Super Truck 2, our partnership with Michelin was built on developing new tires to not only reduce vehicle energy consumption, but also to reduce maintenance downtime. Development of new treads and compounds translated to a significant percentage improvement. I won't get into all of the percentages by tire that you shared, but both in drive tire wear and tear, but overall significantly improving rolling resistance, which means increased efficiency, which means impacts on the operational cost of the vehicle. With the development on the vehicle side of dynamic load shift, that allowed us to transfer some of the load weight from the drive tire right? The front, forward, rear axle, and the tag axle, to take advantage of the tag tire low rolling resistance and again, increase efficiency and contribute to fuel savings. That is a great example of the co-development, right? The co-creation where by developing the tire technology and the chassis hand in hand, we were able to achieve greater results overall. We don't just do this for demonstration purposes, right? We do the work with the intent to bring these innovative solutions to our production vehicles. The X-Line Energy Z Plus, perfect example of this, right? It's as of this month available in our Freightliner production vehicles, including in our Freightliner e-Cascadia. We've got the e-Cascadia parked outside and we're really looking forward to you being able to experience that technology. Joe Kidd here will either let you ride along in the vehicle or you can drive it. If you've never driven a commercial Class 8 vehicle, please take the opportunity. I think you'll be really energized to see the integration of the technology and that electric technology it's not a bolt-on technology, right? It's integrated with safety and the rest of the vehicle components and looking forward to being able to drive that firsthand. And again, the Freightliner e-Cascadia began as an innovation fleet of trucks, right? We began with a fleet of 10 trucks that were in customers' hands for learning opportunities, and now it is in full production in our Portland manufacturing facility, has over 5 million real-world customer miles and over 50 fleets throughout the US and Canada, and is hauling freight, right? Is generating revenue for these commercial fleets. And again, efficiency and longevity of the tires is a crucial component of those 5 million miles.
No doubt. That makes a lot of sense to me, Katie. So we know from the news that there's been a lot of investment from the government in a lot of these new technologies and the new vehicles really across the space of energy transition and efficiency. So are we seeing changes on the commercial side as a result of these government incentives? How is that impacting the commercial fleets that you work with?
Yeah, we can revisit the equation, right? Viable product times infrastructure available for the operation times cost parity. In the long term, we do see the cost of battery electric vehicles and other zero emission technologies coming down as production scales. But in the short term, working towards that cost parity is heavily reliant on grants and incentives. And we do see adoption accelerated in states and provinces where that funding is available, both for the vehicle as well as for the infrastructure.
That's great to hear that we're helping move that equation forward to a resolution place. So this brings me to my next question though for you, Luigi, because environmental sustainability, it's more than just long haul trucking, right? As fantastic, as important as that is, there is more that's vital than that. So what other sectors, as we think about these pioneering fleets, these first starting with tens and now up to millions of miles, what other sectors do you think are moving into this space? And particularly I'm thinking about we have worldwide populations that are really moving into the middle class and really changing consumption habits. Where do we see a path forward here? Who's moving?
Yeah, I think, and it will be no surprise if anyone has looked at that side, there's a tractor sitting there around the corner. You'll get to see it later. Agriculture is the other one I think we obviously have in mind when we talk about resources, population growth, etc. US is probably not traditionally thought of a place that has a lack of land, but you do have to take into consideration how the climate evolves and what restrictions that may cause in terms of what crops and where crops can be grown. So a very interesting technology in line with what I talked about, innovating to change what's possible, is the UltraFlex technology that we launched or innovated and pioneered. On the agricultural side, these are the tires you'll see outside, which enable the vehicles to run at a much lower pressure. Lexi mentioned the benefits earlier today. One that I'd like to reiterate is the reduction on soil compaction, because that directly translates to improved crop yields. Independent assessments have shown that it's 4% or more in crops. It varies by crop, but there is a measurable improvement in terms of the benefit that technology provides. Now that can be a very powerful tool, either if you think about needing less land, so 4% less land for the same yield, or just producing 4% more of the same resources that you have. So very significant advancement to technology and labels.
Excellent. So this has been really illuminating, great discussion. I want to thank you both for your time and these insights that you've brought to us this morning. And I think that this has left all of us with some valuable perspective on the future of sustainability. And for me, some of the things I take away are the role of innovation to close the gap between environmental responsibility and quality and cost, profit for the company, et cetera. The importance of going on a great journey together, like pioneers in Silicon Valley, not far from here, and of course with you, Katie, and really the urgency of being good stewards as the world moves forward here, whether it's on the interstates or in the farm fields, as you described, Luigi. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we go, Katie? I'll start with you.
Thank you, Kara. You know, as a company, we lead with a long view, right? Innovating for future technologies. And while we do that, we have a responsibility to act as global citizens, right? Working to enrich the communities in which we live and work. Our vehicles are operating in communities, in cities, and reducing noise, reducing emissions. It's something that we take really seriously. We're also not losing sight of the challenges in front of us, and we're committed to having the right solutions for our customers to do the work, to move freight, to keep the world moving in the short term as well as the long term. And that means developing sustainable solutions now to achieve our customers' efficiency targets tomorrow. That transition is going to take time. And as I hinted, infrastructure is very often the limiting factor in that transition in the commercial vehicle sector. That's why we will continue to sell diesel vehicles, continue to invest in diesel technology to make it more efficient, as demonstrated through the Super Truck 2 project. In the zero emission vehicle space, we are also pursuing a dual track strategy with electrification in our portfolio, as well as investments in fuel cell EV technology. And our commitment to the market is that we will be ready with the right products and the right solutions in the US market when our customers are ready.
That makes a lot of sense. Luigi, any final thoughts?
I think my final one is specifically in the B2B sector. A lot of association happens between sustainability and sacrifice and compromise. Hopefully you'll see some of what you'll see today changes your mind around that and changes broader perception around that. I think a lot of the products and the innovation that we bring is not necessarily at a trade-off. So the X-Line Energy Z Plus that you'll see, that brings improved rolling resistance, improved mileage, improved retreading, all at the same time. It's not that you're choosing one over the other. More and more you should expect to see that from Michelin. That's the direction that we're trying to head. That's the direction we believe is the right one to really make sure that everyone's making the transition towards better sustainability.
Excellent. That makes a lot of sense. So, Katie Rabideau, Luigi Como, thank you for your time today and your insights and your knowledge. Let's give another hand to our panel.
Thank you.
So, forging ahead in our journey through the morning, let's watch a video that demonstrates innovation